Did you ever see the ghost that walks through the Congress Hotel?
It's one of the many ghost stories haunting the Windy City.
Oh, some haunted Chicago spots, the old jail and Gallows Lincoln Park, Hull House, and more. Joining us to share about the history and the spookiness in Chicago is author and historian Adam Selzer. We always love having you here on the show. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Doing all right. Where do you find this information?
Lots and lots of digging. A lot of it is historical stuff out of old newspaper records, legal records, old ladies' diaries. I read a lot of old ladies' diaries.
As much as people are fascinated and creeped out by this, they still want to hear and learn more. So why do you think ghost stories resonate with so many of us?
Well, they've always resonated with us. Going back as long as we've had stories, we've had ghost stories. We always kind of wonder, there's always the great unknown of what comes after we're dead. Do people still rattle chains around in attics? Do we come back? Do we move on? Do we just cease to be? Ghost stories help us fill in those blanks.
And we were commenting earlier, you're like in the spookiest looking place right now. It almost looks like you fired up.
We would have to pay to get it to look like this.
Exactly.
A movie director would pay a fortune for a set like this.
Yes, and it just came naturally. So tell us what spooky things have been spotted lately.
Lately? These days I haven't heard too much lately. When I do, people come up to me and say, yes, there was a woman in white in my basement. And then I just feel like they're telling me what they think I want to hear.
Oh.
But people have been talking about Lincoln Park here being haunted since the 19th century, really.
Yeah, and you always have the good stories. We mentioned a couple of them. But maybe tell us one that specifically revolves around Halloween.
Why does it revolve around Halloween? Lots of different cultures have had festivals relating to the dead around Halloween. It's around the time that the days are getting shorter and shorter when winter is starting to come. The leaves are starting to fall. The leaves are dying. It just makes us think of the dead, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. I have to imagine, being that it was holiday weekend, you give ghost tours. Was it a pretty busy weekend for you?
Well, I was just doing cemetery tours over the weekend, but yes, it was a very busy weekend for me.
And I understand, so is there a ghost, or what's the story behind the Cook County Jail?
Cook County Jail, but there was a wing of the old Cook County Jail that used to be at Illinois and Dearborn that the sheriff even tried to keep people from having to stay in because it was so spooky out there. That was also where the gallows would be set up. About 100 men were hanged by the neck until they were dead over the years there. And prisoners would tell stories about hearing the sound of the gallows being erected in the middle of the night, even on days when there was not a hanging coming up. They would talk about ghosts of former prisoners coming to them in their prison cells. It was just a spooky place for people.
Is there one more story you want to share with us before we let you go?
Well, there used to be a story that if you hung out by the couch tomb here at midnight, a ghostly woman would come walking out of the door, presumably the ghost of Ira Couch's mother, Hannibal McGee Couch. I've never tried to hang around here at midnight, but it's worth a shot.
Well, maybe today's the day you do it, and then report back and let us know
maybe
what
today's the day. It's a perfect day for it.
Adam, always a pleasure speaking with you, man. Happy Halloween.
Thanks a lot. Happy Halloween.